Hey, well, hello everyone. A couple of minutes early. How's everyone? Checking to make sure the audio's working okay. And we're going to do some camera checks. This stream today is back to the early show. We stopped that because of the daylight savings change, but I think a lot of people were messaging me and saying they wanted it back. So I would stream an hour earlier. It's only 7:57 p.m. here. Normally I stream about an hour later here. But that's okay. That means I'll go to bed an hour earlier tonight, which is good because I've got to get up early tomorrow, take my daughter to soccer, or football as you guys call it in the UK. We call it soccer here because we already have another football game. It's a bit like the US, they call it soccer as well. We're not going to get into that though, but today we are going to check a few cameras out. Audio's good, says Future World Machines. Hello to the channel members, by the way. You can see them in the chat. Channel members are awesome. Got a surprise for you guys today, channel members. I'll show you. Sneak peek of the surprise. Keith in Watford's there, he's one, and Future World Machines is the other. You guys can tell because they've got the super badge and their names are kind of green, which is cool. So big hello to those guys. And of course, a hello to everyone else as well. We've got Keith in Watford, I think was kind of first. I think Cresshead might have been before him. Not sure if he was there. I couldn't actually see his name appear on the chat, but I'll put my mug in the corner there. Martin Taylor, big hello to you. ASIO Head, of course. Hello, Bert. Who else we got? Steve Powell. Big hello to Steve. Steve's one of our patrons. Merbert. Big hello to Merbert. And that's it so far. That's it so far. Why don't we try this? This is a little thing that I've been playing with. I want to see if it works. Tell me if this works, okay? This is my new thank you end credits before we go to the end streams. Don't worry, I'm not going to close the show off. This is just a test, right? Here we go. We're listing all the Patreons. Look at that, isn't that cool? It does it automatically for me. And channel members, that should work as well. I like it, as they say. Fucking Guru's doing the name that synth. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? That's pretty cool. Big hello to all of those people that support the channel. So at least it's small and boutique, but very much appreciated because I know how much even a few dollars has to stretch in everyone's budget these days, especially with all the prices going up. What is going on in this world? Everything is getting expensive and our wages aren't. Someone's making money and it ain't us, that's for sure, especially musicians. We have definitely got the wrong end of it. The COVID really did prove something, didn't it? It really proved that they missed us, but now everything's starting to go back to sort of regular sort of gigs and that. They didn't miss us that much, did they? They're not forking out the money for the concerts as much as they used to, that's for sure. Okay, so today, early show. Let's do some camera angles and test it all out, see if we got everything. So we'll try the big quad camera angle. Making sure we've got Akai Force in front of me here. So it literally is there, as you can see my hand going in. So it's right in front of me. Sorry about all the wires and stuff. Normally I actually don't have anything in front of me. I actually have my Eurorack stuff. I have the Nifty case, which is next to me here. I have that in that spot there because I do sort of shoot videos and things on that. Over here is Eurorack land. We've got more behind me that way, and we've got Nifty case here, and I've got the PTZ camera which I can zoom and move around. So that's this one here. We can fly. We can zoom out. How's that not going to work now? Why is that? What is the deal with that? Why is that not going to? Oh, there we are. We're going to work now because you're in that. You silly thing. So I can move around and show you bits and pieces with the Nifty cam, with the PTZ cam. So there's that. That looks like it's working. Cool. All right. I've got a bit of an agenda I've written here for the Force show. Let us know in chat if you've got a Force before we start. Who's got hands up? Who's got a Force? Akai Force. By the way, when we're doing this, this will actually apply to anyone who's got an MPC X, an MPC Live 2 or an MPC 1, I think. They all have CV connections on them, so that'll apply kind of to you guys in a way. Not exactly the same, but let us know in chat if you've got one. I'm just going to have a quick sip of the drink. Okay. Doesn't look like anyone's got a Force. I thought a few people did. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what's so good about the Force? Nothing. Nothing great about it. I just like it. Let's go to the single Force cam. We can zoom in on it and wake the screen up. You guys should be able to see a bit of that. I can zoom in a little bit on this, but if I do zoom in, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move the screen much more than that. It's a bit annoying actually. That'll probably do us, I think. I can let you know what's going on in that screen. It's not really as important, I guess, because it's not really, we're not really going to be sort of going through what is on the screen. We're going to be more talking about connecting this up to Eurorack, because this kind of sort of went on from last week when we talked about modular production, and I thought, one of the tools I use is this, and some people were sort of messaging me saying, well, why don't you show this, because it's one of your production tools. Okay, so here we are. All right, so let's start off. Connections, audio. Okay, easiest way to talk about this is to show. All right, so if I go to me, probably me's a better one. Okay, so with the audio connections on my Akai Force, because of the latest firmware that they did on this, we can now use class compliant audio devices on here. So I'm just going to go into the menu and get that up for you guys. Audio devices. I don't know why it's not showing. Weird. It is a bit weird, but anyway, trust me, it is there. Let me just go to here. So I don't know if you can see, but it does say expert sleepers. Very, very faint. It's weird. I don't know why it's faint. No, cancel. We don't want to do that. Anyway, it does say expert sleepers there. Oh, it might be because I'm playing. There we go. Silly me. So yeah, expert sleepers. ES8 module is what I'm using for my audio interface, and that's actually a Eurorack module. So let's head on over to Eurorack land and we'll have a quick look at the expert sleepers ES8 module. And I do kind of want to see if I can get the cam to zoom in on this, because I don't know if it's going to do it or not. Yeah, here we go, it's good. You can do it. That is it in Dusty Land here. Expert Sleepers ES8. It's connected via this black USB cable here, and it goes straight into the back of the Akai Force. The reason why I want to use this is I want to use a class compliant audio interface, and I want it to go straight into Eurorack. And the cool thing about this is it has 4 inputs and 8 outputs, and you can actually add expansion modules and stuff to this as well. So that's actually really, really handy, and I do want to show you kind of why that's a cool thing. If I press that button, no, that button, yay. So you can see the expert sleepers here in the corner, and you can see me touching it over there, and you can see the Akai Force there. If I play something on the expert sleep, you should, what if we dim the lights? I wonder if we can see stuff coming out. It might be a bit hard to see, but there is lightable LEDs on here. And if I plug that back in, you can actually just see over here there's an LED that lights up. One of the cool features of it, I guess it's a cool feature, because you can actually see what's going on. Now, if I do put Eurorack sound through this, you should see the inputs light up as well. So let's play something here. And you can actually see Eurorack sound coming out of these inputs here. Any of these Eurorack sounds. Now I've got to stop that. That is very annoying. I've got a audio thing happening on here. Let's turn it off. Oops. Oh, there we go. All right, turn Eurorack off. All right, so we'll talk about how all that works now, I guess, if we show a zoomed in version of the Force, and I've lost my mouse. Where's that gone? There, bang. Okay, so you've seen the physical connections. I'll talk about how I've got those sort of routed in my Eurorack in a sec, but the cool thing about it is anything that comes in now to the Force, I can add audio tracks in here. And I can create clips along here of any sound. I can mute things in Eurorack land and just create different sort of tracks and things like that in clips in here. And the other cool thing about it is that I actually have 4 different inputs in this particular case. I can have more if I do use the different audio interface. And that means I can plug different sort of modules into, you know, the different connections along here. I've got 4 inputs, so I can plug different modules here, including dust. And then, like I said, the 2 outputs of the Force go to here. So I can actually make the Force output to all these 8 different outputs if I want to, but for me, I just want a stereo output because I just want to keep this simple for you guys. That is actually a cool thing. So, you know, with the whole sort of setup like that, one of the things we can do is we can use our little Eurorack mixer that we've got here. This is the, if I go to a bigger version of that for you guys, you can see it better. This is the Feedback Modules Mix BX. I've shown you guys this. I've actually got a second one of these, which I can bring out and show you guys a bit closer up. The cool thing about that, it's a 6-channel mixer with 2 stereo returns and 2 FX sends on it, which is really, really cool. So I've got the output of that mixer going into Expert Sleepers, and then that going into the Akai Force, and then I can record that in, and then I've got the output of the Akai Force going back through into my other sound system, which makes it so you guys can hear it. So we don't need to worry about that. So that's the audio connection. So let me see if there's anyone scratching their head and getting confused, because I probably just really didn't explain that very well. Tell me if that was a bit confusing, please, because I will go through that a little bit more in a sec. Just be interested to make sure I haven't. If everyone's cool, just thumbs up and we'll keep going on to the next thing, because I do want to talk about CV next, but we'll finish up with audio in a sec. Audio is pretty important. There's not much point in getting into the next section unless we get audio right. Okay. How many people we got? Just a few, just a few. It is going to be different having this early show. Not everyone knows about it, so that's all right. We'll keep going. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so how do I mix everything in, you know, to the Force? How do I make sure that different modules get routed into the Force, and I don't want to hear all of it at once? I can if I want to record the whole thing as one clip if I want to. That might be the way you want to go about it, but how do I get it so that I just want to hear basically one module at a time? Well, the cool thing about the Mix BX is down along the bottom row here, all of these are mute switches. So I can turn, let's get some sounds happening and I can show you what I mean. I can turn all these on and off in here. So right now I've got no sounds coming out of the Mix BX. So let's do the strike effects going through here actually. There you go. That's going, the strike effects way, way, way over, bend my finger that way. In the corner there, you can actually see the little light flashing just above my finger. That's where the strike effect is. And the audio of that's coming all the way back. Actually, you didn't see me at all do that, did you? Because I didn't have the right thing on. There we go. You can see the strike effect light in the back corner there flashing. Right? And it's coming all the way back into here where you see the FX Aid module, which is right here. And that's being patched through this Mix BX. So it's just a nice black hole type reverb sound. Right now it doesn't sound like anything cool because it's just like a house chord and with a huge reverb tail. But I might just want to clip that. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to in this case, because it's not really probably a clippy sort of thing that you'd want to clip. I'm happy for that just to randomly play and be live. But if I did want to clip it, all I have to do is go back into my Force, my track, and literally chuck this into record mode, and then matrix, and then I can, here we go, we're recording. It's not recording my voice, don't worry. All right, so that's recorded that. And now, if we want to listen to that back, I'll just mute everything on the Mix BX so you guys can't hear anything now. If I put this into, turn the arm off, where are we? Here we go. There you go. That's what we just recorded, including all the effects and everything. Now, we may not want to record all the effects that came out of that FXA module, and that will just literally loop. You can see there that that's going to loop, and it's about halfway through, and it'll annoyingly loop because this is not a really good recording. There you go. See how it clicked? So that's not a good one. So let's stop. Okay. So the other cool thing about having the Force connected up to a audio interface in your Eurorack is, and we'll go back to this view again, if I can find my mouse. Why does my mouse go over there? Is the outputs, right? Is the outputs. And one of the cool things is right now I've got the plugin Selena, and I'll show you that in a sec on the Force, and this is the plugin Selena. All right, so there's the plugin Selena, and I can choose any of these outputs that I want the Selena to go through, and then if I want to, I could then patch that back through into any module, into the mixer, anything like that, and then glitch it up with some of my Eurorack modules. So that, I don't know if I'm going to go into that today. We might have time to do that, but that's actually a cool feature. And the way you do it basically is in your mixer, you set in your I/O. Let's go to a closer view of this so we can see. So in your I/O, on plugin, that there, if I double click on that, I can literally select any of these outputs here. 1, 2, 3, or 4, all right? Which is really, really cool. So if I change this to out 3, let's say, let's do it to out 3, and I start playing this, you guys won't hear it now. You can see that it's definitely firing, right? But you're not hearing it. And if I go over to, oh, I'm going to do it to 4 actually, because you can see it better. Let's change that to 4. If I go over to Eurorack land, let's say, you can see that's firing there. Just turn the lights off for a sec. And we'll head over to Expert Sleeper Land. Keep an eye on this port right next to my finger here. There you go, you can just see that light coming out. Now, if I move one of these connections to that port, there you go, you can see it better now. You shouldn't hear anything now. There you go. So any of these ports can be configured to take audio in the Force, which is one of the other cool things I love about that recent firmware update. All right, let's change that back to 1, 2. Now we should hear it. Beautiful. All right, so that's audio. I think that's probably everything we need to really talk about here. I think that's audio covered, right? That's input, output, routing, input routing, output routing, switching, clipping, recording, clipping. Okay, let's see what chatties say. Any questions in chat, please flag my name. So it really, because it really helps me, just put @Ranzee. It really helps me see that you guys want to flag my attention, because when I'm switching cameras, switching audio, there's a lot going on here. It's kind of sort of stressful. So flag my name if you want to ask me a question. I am burning through the water today, and it's not because it's hot. It's actually beautiful. I love this time here where I live in Western Australia. It's autumn, almost winter. I think we've got another month to go in autumn, and it's just still, there's no wind. It's kind of low 20 degrees, beautiful blue skies. It gets a bit brisk at night, so you have really good night sleeps. Daytime, you get a bit of sun. Absolutely love it. Tell us a little bit about the weather in your part of the neck of the woods. Okay. Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Okay, so I did mention to you that I was going to show you quickly the when you actually are using a plugin on the Force. If you haven't seen this yet, this is actually a pretty cool thing. You'll like this. So you go menu, and then you click on Track Edit, and now you can see the plugin. So this is what the Selena plugin looks like. You can change all the ensemble stuff here, the sound, flavor. Yeah, all the different settings. And it's got presets, and I chose rich strings because I'm lazy. Let's try a different preset. Rich viola. Okay, what else we got? Airy horns. I'm not going to go there. So I do have a key step plugged in via MIDI, if you're wondering how I'm firing all this stuff. But if you don't actually, if you have a Force and you don't have a MIDI controller, you can actually use this matrix here, and you can play notes on that if you want, and you can actually see me play notes. And just so you know, there's other plugins to choose from. This is not really about this today. Like everyone's favorite new plugin that they've got is the Mellotron. This sounds amazing. Let's do, not Boys Choir. Let's do the violin pad. It's a beautiful plug-in, that. So that's the Mellotron. And this bassline, electric, hype, Odyssey. There's an ARP Odyssey in here too, which people rate. Got some patches happening on here. And there we go. Some mono synth, so. Pretty good for a plug-in, to be honest. Going back to the Selena, going back to my rich strings. There we go. Nice and rich. Right, chatties, button. Pew. So there you go, that's that. I tend to use matrix and mixer modes on the Force, which are these modes here. Matrix, mixer. I just like that linear column sort of feature of it. I like to launch from here. Good thing about too is you can set the pads on this to be different to what's on the screen. So I might be in the mixer here on the screen, but I've still got launching pads here. So they're kind of, they're decoupled. Unlike the MPCs, what's on the pads follows what's on the screen unless you're using an external controller. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next thing is CV connections. Thought I'd go through that. And the way to go through that is literally just to pull this forward a bit and show you. So I've got 4 CV ports on the back, and I've got 2 plugged in. We're only going to use 2 because there's no point in going crazy here. And we're going to just do the standard gate and CV pitch with these 2 ports. So those 2 purple cables there are going to come out into Eurorack land over here. Let me just go to this view. And I need to get a different camera angle here. Give me a sec. Zoom out, down, we go. All right, so there is the gate cable coming in there, and the pitch cable is just hanging at the back there. There's the pitch cable. I just got it extended a little bit with that, that one there, you can see. So the pitch cable is going into, so that little blue connection to the purple. I'll just move it across a bit so you can see. That is going into, it's annoying, this thing. There we go, straight into the Caltrans there. So there it is there. So that's going to control the pitch of that. And we're going to set up a little sequence on the Force to try this out. So the next job for us is to actually set up a CV track. Now, CV connectivity is really just plug it in and then go to your next, go to your next track and create a CV track. So literally just plus, choose CV from all of these options. So CV is the one on the right. And then what we want to do now is we want to configure the ports on this. It's been a while since I've done this because I don't usually use the CV on this. So you can double click on this. Yep, here we go. And so you see these settings, you've got type, you've got melodic. And the cool thing about this is the melodic automatically sets your CV and gate port. CV port 1, gate port 2. And I probably should double check that actually, because I thought gate might have been, let's see. Yeah, I got it around the wrong way. So you can just change it here. So CV port will be 2, gate port will be 1. So, or I could have just swapped the cables off around the back. That's fine. Okay, and if you want to, you can plug another 2 ports in and you can have mod wheel and velocity port. And it actually can actually send MIDI through as well, however you want it. But the other settings too, you've got all these. So you've got drum and melodic. That's really cool. If you do drum, you set up MIDI routing, and there's a whole bunch of clever stuff in here. So I'm not going to use drum, I'm going to use melodic, because that's how I want it to do. Right. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to set up like a step sequence, okay? So we want to set up a clip. Yep, create a new clip here. And we want to do it like a step sequence here. And we just pretty much just want to have like, I don't know, just maybe something really basic, but let's see if we can actually get this thing to send MIDI, CV by going to notes. Okay, we need to disable. Right, now we need to get some sound from this into the mixer, which I haven't done yet. One sec, I need to do output of filter amp. We can't hear anything because we haven't got anything plugged in. And plug that into one of the ports on here. Let's see. Oh, it's being a beauty. We literally have CV controlling Eurorack. It's a fantastic thing. You're going to have to trust me. If you look at my finger there, you can see that's definitely changing. Let's trigger this a bit different. Trigger to norm. And then offset. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's awesome. So now we can, that sounds beautiful. Your 2500 module. We do have some effects happening on that, so we probably want to turn them off. Let's turn it off for a sec. Yeah, there's no effects now. We can turn it back on. That's the magneto, if you're wondering what's causing that. Okay, who's happy with that? So we've just shown you CV, and we've got pitch and gate coming out of the Force now, and it's so good we can actually just, and it's not MIDI, I promise you. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Controlling CV with your Force. I think that's just, seriously, you could just nerd out on that for hours, and you probably haven't got any work done creating journey tracks. You can just nerd out on that. That is so cool. Grid playing, yeah. And I've got a key step underneath. If you literally drilled a hole through there, you would see a key step. Just let me take a sip of the drink. All right. Okay. How many plugins can you use on the MPC before you get CPU issues? I don't know. I don't think I've ever really done that. That's kind of that's not how I roll. I kind of just, I'm very minimalistic. You've probably heard my music. It's very minimal. I don't really sort of just throw the kitchen sink at stuff. So I'm not the right person to be asking that, unfortunately, but definitely I've seen posts in forums on Facebook and places like that where guys have whinged, oh, it's crashed, it's run out of memory. And I just think that some people can get really, really stupid with doing that sort of stuff. And I kind of don't know if that's really how you'd use it in the end anyway. You'd probably be more sensible. However, just bear in mind, these things aren't like massive, huge PCs. So we can't really expect them to behave like a VST DAW. I think we should kind of just be, we should be gentle in that regard. I think it's fantastic that they've got these VST plugins in them because they actually are, they sound beautiful and they actually do a lot of cool things and add features to it. But at the same time, I don't think that's really the way I would go about it. And I think, yeah, as Chris had said, there's 8 plugins max that you can load on there. But I don't think I would ever do that personally. I don't think I'd ever run a Force or an MPC with 8 plugins. I don't think so. Max asked me, what's your tuning routine for oscillators with the Force? Okay, so I'm using at the moment I actually haven't checked the tuning of it, and I probably could because I've got the data plugged in. But I'll just show you guys. So I'm using Caltrans, and a Caltrans actually hasn't been tuned. So this could be completely out. Let's actually have a look what the tuning's like on this. It says it's out. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna hit the C. A little bit out. You guys can see it there. It's a little bit out. Sorry about the dust. I'll wipe the dust off for you. Yeah, it's going out as I pitch. I'm using this key step here. All right, so let's try. So you can see that it's definitely going out of tune as we go up in voltage, which can be kind of normal. So, I mean, I could invoke the tuning thing on the Caltrans and away I go. I don't really feel like doing that just for the show because I don't really care. But that's what I would do. I would go through the Caltrans here and run a tuning sequence and off it goes. I haven't actually touched any of these knobs here on tuning on this oscillator for a bit, so it should be relatively okay. Like if I re-enable the Selena, and we go a C, and then an F. Sounds pretty good to me. So the VST type plug-in synth is in tune with the Eurorack. So I don't know, to me that I'd be happy with that. Okay. What's next? We're only in. I've got my agenda here. We're still on the first line. MIDI was the next thing I wanted to quickly show you guys. MIDI is important. Okay, so the Force has got a lot of MIDI stuff on here, and I kind of don't really use it a lot in this particular regard, because in this particular regard, what we want to do is we want to have the Force just sync clockwise. Now you can clock sync it through USB, through DIN, MIDI DIN, or through Ableton Link. And in my case, I'm going to use Ableton Link, and I'll show you why. So we've got Ableton over here. And you can see up at the top left-hand corner, you'll see Ableton Link. It's got one link written here. Sorry about it being really small, but it should be 1080p for you guys. You'd be able to see that clearly. So there's the link there. And then if we go across to the Force, you can see Ableton Link is working there. So that's just literally on your network. Why did I just press the screen then when I was trying to show you that? All right, so whenever I start anything on Ableton here, the reason why I'm using Ableton, I should explain. This may not be what you want to do, but this is just what I'm doing. The reason why is because I have a PAMS module here, and I've got that connected through a FH2 Expert Sleepers module next to it. And whenever I press play on Ableton, the MIDI gate and clock, clock and run command goes into PAMS, and it starts PAMS off, and then everything is all synced nicely in Eurorack land as it is with Ableton. So let's go, bang. So that's now launched off. You can't hear anything, but you would have seen PAMS just go crazy there with all the lights. I'll just press stop, you'll see it stop. And I'll just press play. In fact, why don't I do this? You don't need me, so I'm going to take me out of the screen here. I'm going to put Ableton in the corner, which is, where's Ableton gone? NDI Mac, there you go. All right, so now you can see me press play. You can see the mouse running around Ableton here. I'm going to press play on Ableton. And so look on the left-hand window, and then at the same time, look at PAMS. There you go, off she goes. So PAMS going off. And you can also see the Force is actually playing as well. So if I press stop, I can press stop on the Force. And you can see Ableton, and that's all linked now. So I could go into Mixer here and bring some sort of so you can see everything all linked in. Now we can put that strike fit back in. Should play in a sec. We've got two strike fits happening now. We could turn one strike fit off. So there you go. That's why you would link and have that all sort of synced. So that's MIDI. But if you're wondering, you can go into the settings of this thing, into preferences and into MIDI and sync. And let's go to the bigger screen so you guys can see. So you can see I've got a key step plugged in, and that's the only MIDI device I've got connected up to this. But you can go down further on the screen, and then you can see here my sync receive is Ableton Link. So I can change that to MIDI time code or just MIDI clock or turn it off so it's internal. So I don't want to do that, but and then you've got a whole bunch of other MIDI settings in there. So that's what that does. So we don't need that because Ableton Link does that all for us. You might not want to use Ableton Link, that's fine, cool, no problem. Okay, this is why I asked about tuning and tracking. If the Force could track the tuning of oscillators and adjust the curve accordingly. I don't know. See, that's the sort of nerdy stuff that I would love to know how to do. Someone needs to show me, Mr. Mac. I would nerd out on that stuff any day of the week. I don't think there's any. Let's have a look anyway. Let's go into here, into the CV side of things, and see what else we've got in here. So, whoops. We've got MIDI routing, general settings, transpose. So it doesn't really have, in there it doesn't really have voltage settings or anything like that. So like in a KeyStep or a BeatStep or KeyStep Pro, you get a lot more kind of cool stuff. Let's see if there's any CV stuff in preferences here. There might be. There might be. Hardware? Not sure. I've never really looked. There might be some effing around that you can do in that stuff. I kind of feel that it's just going to be a standard 1 volt per octave thing, but we all trust that, and I don't think hardly anyone ever gets it perfect. Like even those key steps and that are out, so yeah. The function I mentioned is Ableton Live, for example, but not in the Force, which is new rudimentary CV features a bit. Yeah, of course it did. So Ableton Live definitely has a lot more of those sort of features. So yeah, we don't need to. I don't think I mean, this is really not sort of getting nerdy into CV at this stage, but what this is more just, this was kind of like just a show to go from what we talked about last week about production of Eurorack, and then this is one of the tools that I use to produce Eurorack, and I clip. So these are clips already. So we've got, we could record a clip there. Let's press stop for a sec. Let's delete this clip. So we go delete. Hey, Brooksy.
Hello, can you hear me? Am I coming through all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. So what I'm going to do,
lovely.
What I'm going to do just quickly is I'm just going to play like a bit of a sequency sort of thing on here. And we'll use the arpeggiator, so let's see if we can get this thing to work. All right. That's awesome. Okay. And we can create a CV clip. Now this is actually not going to record any audio at this stage. So let's press play. All right. And let's record. And let's choose a CV clip. That's now playing. I'm not recording it anymore. But the other cool thing is now I can do this sort of stuff. I can get the camera to move. So the cool thing about those CV clips, right, is we actually haven't recorded any audio, but now we have control in the Force over stuff that's happening over in Eurorack land. And I just think that's cool because now it gives me a bit more control over what I want to melodically play in Eurorack land. And if I want to hit record on a clip, which is my audio clip over here, this middle second sort of column here, it's going to be recording those clips in a lot more sort of synchronized time. So let's see if this works for us, right? So let's go, let's just do this quickly because I think this is kind of where the power comes in, or one of the powers anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to arm this track here, okay? And I'm going to hit record, and we want Ableton playing in the background, cool. And then I'm going to hit this button here, it's ready to go. And the CV should actually play if everything's going well. And now I can adjust knobs. There we go. All right, so we probably need to edit that and all that sort of stuff, but that is pretty much what we're after, right? And now we can play that. And we want to stop this clip here. That's audio now, that's recorded. And that will just loop on forever. So now we're building. We're already building, right? And all I've done is just plugged in a couple of Eurorack modules. And trying to do this live is a very difficult thing to do. But anyway, let's bring Brooksy in. How am I going to do that? I can go boom. Let's bring me back into the top corner like I normally do. There. Brooksy, what do you want to be? Top right?
Wherever, yeah. Yes.
There, that'll do.
Hello.
Where do you normally sit? You normally sit bottom right, don't you?
I don't know. I've no idea. Do I? I don't normally sit here. I'm normally here. I'm normally sitting here.
I don't want that. I don't want your title. We could put you twice. In fact, we could actually put you 3 times.
No, please don't. One ugly mug's bad enough. 3 times is just.
No,
stop it, Ranzee.
I'm actually going to put Darren there because he's going to come in a minute, and I'm going to put chatties there, which is probably how we usually have it, right? Okay, so cool. All right, now the good thing about that is we got through the first line. I've got 4 topics, and we've got through the first topic of this show, and that is connections. What time is it? And that's taken 45 minutes to get through that. But the cool thing about it is at the same time, I was also able to, I'll tell you what the topics are. The topics are connections. Number 2, making it sync. Number 3, creating clips. Number 4, audio routing and audio routing tricks. Guess what? We've actually done all of that in 45 minutes. So even though those other topics, let's go home. No, even
nice to see you, folks. I've got things I can be getting on with, so I'll see you.
The cool thing about it is those topics kind of, we touched on them. So we already showed on the Force that we created clips, right? And we just created that clip then. Which we recorded, right? But we also recorded this clip here, which is now live. And you might think it sounds the same, but I'm actually controlling that.
So that's a MIDI to CV clip?
That is a CV to CV clip.
Just to see.
Just CV.
CV to CV.
Just CV. Right? And then at the same time, we've also got plugins. Cool.
Oh.
So that is making it sync, creating loops, audio routing and tricks. We did audio routing and tricks, I think. I think we did audio routing and tricks. I do want to kind of show you everyone, before we kind of get into the rest of the show, I do kind of want to get into the audio routing a little bit more, because I think this is where the magic is with these sort of setups. If you can get yourself worked out on how you want your audio interface to work. Now, for me, as I mentioned before, I'm using the Expert Sleepers ES8 because it's class compliant USB audio, and it happens to sit inside my Eurorack. That doesn't mean that you have to do that. You can just use one of those Akai mixers, or sorry, the Tascam mixers, or any class compliant audio interface that's USB class compliant will work beautifully. But what you want to have is you want to have something that you definitely can easily work out how many inputs and outputs that you can play around with. And I'm not saying this Expert Sleepers thing is the best thing since sliced bread, because it probably isn't. But what I would love, someone like Behringer, who seem to be making everything because everyone suggests it right now, anyone who wants to make one of these, is it Ian from Expert Sleepers? I forget the guy's name. Anyone who does these sort of stuff, that Mix BX module there, the mixer, please make one with a USB audio interface that is multi-channel. So each one of those channels will come across, and then I don't even need these things. I can just use that mixer, and it's got a USB plug in the back of it, or on the top of it, or whatever. Just make one like that. Make it with ADAT if you want, or make it with ADAT and USB. I think that would be an awesome thing. In this particular case, it would probably be chunky, but yeah, something like that would be awesome. So getting back to sort of what I was talking about with routing, what you want to have is control over your modules. If you've got a lot of modules like I do, you want to have some sort of way to switch them on and off. So like mute switches are handy for that. But if you don't have mute switches, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, Andy, and you probably know where I'm going to go with this now, is during the week I got something new, didn't I? People are going to hate me for getting this. I paid for this, by the way. So this is not a freebie from anyone. I bought this. It is a Behringer module, yes, and it is a copy of someone else's, I know, but it's cheap.
Oh, you got that.
I got 4Play.
Got that.
One of the best things about these things, you can get the other one as well if you want, if you want to, respect who originally designed this, is that each one of these inputs can have their own separate outputs across the bottom, right? Stop looking at my face. That's just Sony saying, I've found a face. Focus on that. Okay. But also the 4/mix down the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah. You don't have to plug all your outputs separately. It will just mix it all for you. So in a way, this is a 4-channel mixer. And it has the boosts here, and it has the levels, and it also has your, come on, your thingers. What do you call them again? Those little knobs there. Sorry.
Attenuators.
Attenuators, that's the word. Don't fall down, please. Okay, so that is one way you could do that. And the cool thing about that is that each one of those inputs, you can have a different envelope control or LFO or any type of modulator doing what VCAs are supposed to do, because that's what VCAs actually are predominantly, is they are a gate-controlled amplifier as such, right? They allow us to kind of control the gates and control it through an envelope, whether you want to have a slow release, fast release, slow attack, all that sort of stuff. We've got that ability. With that 4-channel, we now can mix into one the output, which is handy. And it doesn't take up as much space as a massive, huge Eurorack mixer. I love this thing to death, but like that is taking up a lot of HP, right? There's a Roland one next to it, by the way, which is also a 6-channel mixer, but it's not as good. It's handy, but it's not as good. Not as good, why? Because it doesn't have FX send and returns. And there definitely wouldn't have any space for that on there. I do like that Roland mixer though. I do rate it because it has mute switches and they're actually handy. I've got the mute switches turned on at the moment. But anyway, so being able to control what sounds come into your Akai Force is actually really, really important, especially if you're, say for example, you want to clip the raw sound of an oscillator or a sound module, but you don't want to go through the effects that you've got set up in your Eurorack. You might want to use the effects in the Akai Force, and Akai Forces have got heaps of effects in them. They've gone really, really big now on all the effects. Some of them are a bit annoying, like some of their delays. I wish they would sync with the beat and things like that, but we'll get there. But for example, you may want to use some of those vocal effects. They're huge, you know, pitch quantizers, all sorts of cool stuff that you could then manipulate the sound that you've just made in your modules as a clip in Eurorack. And then if you want to, if you're really getting funky, you can then take the audio, because you're routing audio, back out, and then you can repatch it through all your glitching modules, and you can re-clip it again. So it becomes a kind of a workflow thing.
Never-ending cycle.
It does. You could create one clip with the raw sound and then create another clip with exactly the same sequence and sound and pitches, but that might have all glitched up. And then when you're playing your sort of live thing, you can go from one clip to the other, and it sounds like you've got this, you know, you're the master of all these controls, but really all you've done is just 2 sample clips, right? I did notice a couple of cool comments coming through. Kev Human said, I run everything through my Roland DJ controller, which gives me a load of control and some effects plus headphone queuing. It sends 10 channels to, I think you meant to say DAW, or I can turn Serato on and loads of other stuff, I think you meant to say. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. How'd we go so far? I think we covered most of the things I wanted to cover anyway. We are about 5 minutes before. Hello, Darren, by the way. We are about 5 minutes before the start of the main show. How are you going, Darren?
Good. I believe you've talked about everything. Yeah, I didn't get a... I had a look at your notes, but I didn't because I didn't have a password, so...
I gave you one. In the email.
No, it was just blank. Unless it was hidden, unless I had to work it out.
No. Brooksy, you got the same email. You got the password in your email, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at it either. Ranzee, sorry, not had a chance. Apologies.
No, I looked at it. I don't say password.
Yeah,
it's me.
I know what you're saying. No, it's definitely me. Let me just reply to all.
Doesn't matter. I was just in case there was something that I should have caught up on and I couldn't. I thought maybe he was doing it as a test there, Andy. Sort of like put it in what he says, and we've got to work it out.
No, you're just whinging. That's what you're doing. You're just saying, like, send me the friggin' password so I can see that. I've just sent you the password.
I just like to know, Darren, what a PR diggy is.
I don't know. A PR diggy. It's another Rave Dave saying, isn't it?
It's a pro diggy. He works for like some sort of earth moving company, I think. He pro digs.
PR star diggy. Right, okay.
Pro some American World War II army truck diggy.
Yeah.
They had those little star symbols on there, didn't they, in the American Jeeps and stuff.
Yeah, the American Jeeps, yeah.
Cool. That was fun. I was really kind of hoping that I'd have a lot more time, but it just bleeds time when you're talking about all these cool things. Yeah. One of the things I also want to show quickly before we start the main show is I also bought during the week 2 other things. One of them's not here yet, and the other thing is I've got a second one of these.
Oh, you're addicted to that.
I absolutely love that module. That is beautiful. It's a really nice sound. Mm-hmm. And I love how you can switch waveforms and they've got inverse and it's just so cool. Anyway, so I've got 2 of those. And Behringer, if you're watching, please make the dual version which is called the 1023 or something, the one that they originally built back in the day. Make the dual version. That'd be cool. It's a little bit like, Brooksy, it's a bit like the 110 they did with the Roland stuff. How they had VCO, VCF, and VCA in one, but instead they've got two oscillators in one.
Okay.
And then they've got another module which has got VCA, VCF, and VCO. Sorry, VCA, VCF, and EG, I think it is, in the other. And they're the two modules that Behringer haven't made in that 2500 series of modules. They were two quirky modules that may have came on later on. I don't know if they were original or someone else made them as a third-party person, but they would be really cool. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I got that 4-play module from Behringer is for the 4 VCAs is because with the 2500 VCA module, you only get one gate input on that, and that gate input has you've got two ADSRs on there, but it only has one gate input. So if I want to have a different gate input, I need to, use a different module, completely different module. So having that second VCA means that I can run 4 different gates, 4 different LFOs, whatever, 4 different envelopes into that and do whatever I want, have it all kind of crazy. So that was kind of the cool thing about that. All right. Here we go. We're saying all the cool stuff. 1045, voltage controlled voice, combination of 2 envelope generators, voltage controlled envelope. Yeah, so that would be the cool one to get, the 1045. And then you got the 1046 was the exponential envelope generator with ultra compact module containing a pair of envelope generators with trigger, delay, and a pair with delay. I think I'd go with the 1045. That would be two voices, 2 envelopes, 2 filters, 2 VCAs as a preset voice. To me, that would be the one to get. So yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's hit the button. Go. I think it's this one. Hey, we've already said hi to everyone, so we're going to go here. I'm not even going to do that anymore. It's just a bit weird. We've reached the main show. That's really all that's for. One day I was planning on slicing these shows up into different things, and I don't know. It's never going to happen. I just have too much to do during the week. Right. Hello to Darren. How's your week been, mate?
G'day. Yeah, it's been fine. It's been fine. What for done? Finishing off the vocals with Rave for one of the tracks. Just finishing it. Just trying to get him to say the words that he's supposed to say. But other than that, yeah, I've been fine. Not really much to report other than that. 2 tracks that I mentioned ages ago, last year, that I've sort of finished, but I'm trying to do a video for them. Right? Till I get the video, I'm not putting them out. I think Andy will like them both actually. It's going back to the it's sort of remixing, I would think, some old classics. So yeah, other than that, nothing. Just doing the vocals for Rave Dave's track because that was pretty much finished. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to report really.
Looking forward to the Rave Dave stuff, and of course the other stuff as well. That's fantastic. Keep us posted. Brooksy, how's your week been, mate?
Rubbish. I've had a bad back. On Monday, or was it Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was. I got to work and my back was killing me. By the time it got to about 10 o'clock, I was not stooped over like a little old man going, oh God, it's just killing me. So I spent the week with a bad back rubbing Voltarol into my lower back muscles, and hopefully it will all loosen itself up. But after last week's show and that announcement, the mutable instruments were were going to stop production, I decided, I better get that. Then I wasn't quite so soon, so I've invested. I thought, well, maybe I can stretch to 2 of these things, but I decided to be a good boy, and I ordered the Platts module, and that came in the week. But I've still not really had much of a chance to play with it properly yet. So, although it does sound really nice, I have to say.
Yeah, I would do.
I'll tell you what I really like. I'm going to tell listeners and say what I really like is that. Yeah, that comes with it.
Yes, good,
That's
aren't they?
really good, really clear, really helpful. Eurorack module manufacturers, take note, is really, really good. And it annoys me that you get these modules and there's a little scratchy piece of paper that's folded up and you can't read and it doesn't tell you what you need to know. Behringer, are you listening? Anyway, there you go.
You're lucky if you get that handy on a lot of modules.
Yeah, quite right. Yeah, clouds, absolutely. They're lovely, aren't they? They're really good, really good.
Yeah.
What's your next mutual object?
Speaking of clouds,
module then, Andy?
Probably beads. I think I'll go with that. As soon as that's sort
of beads is cool.
The latest cool. Clouds. I think so. I thought about rings, but there's a rings thing in the Platts, isn't there? But then you could get any of them. And I know we talked about this last week, didn't we? Where you could get the stages, and I quite fancy grids as well, but that's not made anymore. I'd get a second-hand one of those, but I've got the Euclidean circles. What do I really need that? I could cheaply give any of them house room, like Darren actually said. You just get them, and they're good, aren't they? So, well, yeah, I think in terms of the ones which I think will add into what my rack can do, I think the beads is probably a sensible one.
Beads is basically Clouds version 2, right? But it's not really Clouds at all.
Yeah.
The one I want to get is Marbles.
Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, that's the one I want.
I've got Marbles.
Yeah, because it's a random sampler, and
it's cool.
And it's got things like deja vu and stuff like that in there. It's really, really cool. But yeah, so glitchy things is what I like, as you know. So that will probably be what I'll get. You can get, by the way, the rushing out of getting the mutable instrument stuff is purely just because we have a love for the company and we want to own that gear before they stop making it, because it's just going to be the used market after that. Yeah, there are plenty of these modules sitting around in the stores still. So, if you do have, like, for example, I'm just looking at my local store, they've got a Marbles in stock here in Australia. So I'll probably just pick that up. It's not cheap though, bloody hell. Who told me to get into Eurorack? I forget now. Was that you, Mac? I think it was. I'm going to blame you. Anyway,
we'll blame Mac for that. Yeah,
he's out of it now. He's not fully out of it.
Stick 2 fingers up at everybody.
Yeah, well, actually, talking of that, I have actually had a slight studio change. If you can see this gap of light here, I don't know. Can you see it? I don't know that you can see it on this gap of light here.
I can see
where the Waldorf used to be.
You've installed a window.
Yes, so I can see what's going on in the room. No, the Waldorf used to be here. The 2 Waldorfs, they've now moved.
Yeah,
but they're out of camera shot actually. They're in one of my bars that go across the top, so they're actually in a quite cool place looking down on me.
Which Waldorf are you talking about? Are you talking about the
Pulse and Bifold? Yeah,
Blofeld. Yeah,
Blofeld. Sorry.
Yeah,
Bifold. Blofeld. Yeah. You
Fantastic.
can't see them; they're out of shot.
Should be yawning.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to do this because we're going to say hello to the chatties. I did say hello to them at the start, which was probably an hour ago, almost an hour and 10 minutes ago. We'll kind of just randomly pick a few today. Hello to David, who's one of our channel members. Big hello to you, of course. Also, we've got Corrosive Abuser, Wagoo, Ben Breslin, Inky the Cat, who's Lisa, as we all know. She's one of our long-term regulars and also used to be on the video side. She's shied away in recent times. It's a bit sad, but she's been busy doing jams and live gigs and things. So that's a fairly decent reason, I think. Eddie's there. Hello to Eddie. F Rose is in the chat. And I pretty much think I've said hello to most of the others. generally sort of throughout. Sasquatch, Failed Muso, who's Robbie, big hello to you. Okay, I think we will catch up with you guys sort of as the show progresses. Let's progress into the show and start off with the first segment, which is Funny Shag. Yes, he's patching again. Modular Synth, I let him alone. And then there's the legs, and that's really what he's doing. And there's his leg that he uses to make it look like he's actually there. It's kind of, this one made me scratch my head. I mean, it laughed. My head laughed. I laughed, I should say, first. And then I kind of thought to myself, hang on a minute, don't you actually want to be patching your synths and instead of, I mean, yeah, go down to the pub. That's a cool thing as well. But I just don't like, yeah, it's kind of, it confused me. What do you guys think of that one? Bit confusing?
Yeah, although that's what I did look like with the legs coming out of all those wires when I was stripping down.
Poor English in frame one makes me lol. Yes.
Yeah, full stop.
Yes.
And then I'll leave.
Yes.
Oh, well, let's not. Don't you turn me into a grammar fascist.
Look, I didn't write this. I didn't write this. And
that was my no, it's my goose.
And if I did, it would be worse. All right, what's the next one? When your neighbours like your music so much, they throw a brick through your window just so they can hear it better. They love me. See the down the bottom? Poor Spider-Man. When you need to have superhero powers to be better than what you really are. Right, okay. What about this one? The number of vocoders in the world and the number of uses of a vocoder. That really, they needed to make that box quite big, but really it should have been smaller, to be honest. The box on the right, that is.
Yeah. God, yeah. Surrounded by vocoders.
One day someone's going to find a really cool use for a vocoder other than what we think it's used for and blow us all away. Right, and the last one was this, which I, carrying on from last week when we had kind of all these weird pictures of pianos, I just thought that one was good. So, yeah. Someone's got too much time in their hand, what do you reckon? Favourite meme of the week. Chatties, what do you guys think? You've got the, what did we start off with? The crazy patching? The crazy patching?
Quite a bit of vocoders for me.
The
I like the pothole.
The Spider-Man, the vocoders, or the pothole? You're going pothole?
Yeah, with you, Sassy, on the pothole, I think. Well, the pothole piano.
Daniela? Oh, you're saying hi to Daniela. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Daniela's there. Hi, Daniela. Piano. Wow, piano's getting a few loves. The pothole. Yeah, you don't want to drive your car over that. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Right. Okay. Speaking of which, we are. Just give me a sec. Actually, I just want to find out something. Right, we are going to go into the next segment, which is this. Big one. Big segment. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just had to set something up. And every week, even though I check it, it gets it wrong. It gets it wrong. I don't know why.
It's a nice, weird. Great audio. That's nice, that. There you go.
Okay. We're happy now? Okay, we're going to do this first. This one's been done to death during the week, I think, by other shows. And as I always say, unless I've got something more to add, I won't sort of drag you guys through this. But I think I do have something more to add. Let me just talk about this.
Talk about this one, I think.
This is a new digital full-side version of the Juno Synth, which has new features and extra abilities. But is it just a VST in a box, really? Why have Roland left out this ACB technology that they've recently developed? Why are they leaving that now? They've completely parted ways with that. I don't get it. You guys need to answer some of these questions if you can, or you can join me with the question mark at the end of these if you wish. Or maybe you have the answers, I don't know. But not only is this Juno X providing you with the emulated historic Juno 60 and Juno 106 voices, I think there's some really good positives out of this, so let's not be too negative and bash Roland too much. It lets you create some fatter sounds than what the original Juno had. It has the super saw waveform. It's digital, okay, so it's going to have that sort of stuff. It also offers, this is where it starts to get good, it offers velocity sensitivity, pitch envelope control, and it has a new Chorus 3 mode. So you might remember on the Juno it had Chorus 1 and 2. This has got Chorus 3. Roland is saying this is beyond Juno by allowing you to bring onboard modules from other Roland Cloud offerings, and we'll talk about this after the video shows, the XV5080, the RD Piano, the vocoder. It's got 900 PCM based presets. The XV5080, in my opinion, is actually a really, really, really good Roland product. I actually go to it a lot. So I am not negative about this at all. I actually love the XV5080. And also it's got the model expansions, as I mentioned before. You can actually put a Jupiter 8 in here. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. Or you could try the new vocal designer. It's got a vocoder in it. But this is where it gets good. It has a 61 aftertouch. Yay, finally Roland listened. Keyboard. It's only channel aftertouch though. It's not polyphonic aftertouch, and it doesn't have a ribbon controller. Someone's going to whinge about that, trust me. 5-part multi-timbral, which is really good. 256 scenes, multi-effects, arpeggiator. The arpeggiator is based on the Jupiter arpeggiator, and it's using the new arpeggiator system. It's also MIDI DIN, USB, auxiliary ports, plus balanced XLR outputs, which is a nice feature. And it also has, what's it called? Bluetooth. Okay. Yes. Now, if all goes well, we should do this.
Hi, I'm David from Roland, and this is the Juno X.
Let's have a little look at this first while we have a think. Everyone's probably seen this already, right? Tiny little screen. Again, Roland. What's with the tiny screens? David's awesome, by the way. I really rate him. He's a good product demo.
Now, many of you vintage fans might recognize the design.
So let's have a quick chat about this. I don't want to go through the whole big Roland video. At the end of the day, is this just a MIDI controller? Is it just a bunch of Roland Cloud VSTs in a MIDI controller, or is it more? What do you guys think?
Are you waiting to speak, Darren?
I'm trying to think, because at first, are they just using the Juno look? I don't know what to say. I was a bit perplexed by it at first. It sounds a bit like a System 8, but in a different look. I don't know. I can't really. At first, I thought I like it, and then it's not. It is playing on the Juno look and heritage and that vintage past, like, fan base. But then it's basically, like you say, is it just a digital MIDI controller that looks like a Juno, where you can, like you say, upload or download sort of more or less soft synth presets on and designs into the synth? So I don't know. I'll leave it over to you, Andy. I'm a bit. I think it's just playing on the look of it more than they could have made this a completely different synth. But I think they're using the Juno name and that sort of long lost that I'm not chasing ghosts sort of ambience to sell it, because it could be called anything. If you get rid of that look, yeah. I'll leave it over to you.
Were they taking the P155 when they said that they're not chasing ghosts? I mean, seriously, just about every single synth that they've brought out has been a re-badge of some of their 1980s classics. That's
just to add to that, by the way, I'm not saying it's not a good digital synth. I'm not getting with the Juno look. You know, that's the Juno, and they made a digital synth that you can download SoundCloud stuff in, very similar to a System 8 with a Juno look and a little tiny screen. So
they're so scared of analog, aren't they? Brooksy, what do you think?
I think that Darren's right. I mean, the thing is, I think it looks fantastic. Everyone loves that look. I mean, it looks great, but I just think it's a repackaged what they've already got. So this is, you know, it does the same things as plenty of the other bits, got the same sort of engines. It's just put into that particular chassis with that particular look. And it's, you know, yeah, well, Chris says right, isn't it? You might, because it sounds good. And it will sound good. It will sound phenomenally good. I am absolutely sure. And it's got so much flexibility. Part of me thinks it's really brilliant. Part of me thinks, yeah, this is great. I could really, really go for that. I really like it. And then I saw the price tag and was really quite cross. Because to me, Juno means the budget end. So when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, brilliant, they're going to do one of these for about $799.
Yeah.
I thought it's going to be £799, like the original Juno 106 cost.
Yeah,
thought, oh, brilliant. That's
£1,700.
And then, £1,700. I'm thinking, yeah, I know there's a lot in it. And you're getting that look and that heritage, but I don't know. No, it leaves me. It leaves
top
me thinking,
of the bunt list.
In a bit. No, it's not. No, it isn't. For that money, it's not even close at that money. It really isn't. I'm sorry. You know, if I was shelling out that much money, I'd be getting the Hydra Synth Deluxe with my eyes wide open, and I wouldn't even look at that Juno at that price. If it was half the price, I'd be going, oh yeah, that's a serious contender. That, oh yes. And you wait till Behringer start loading out all their current
thing, just using the Juno name and look.
I think so, very much. And the name and the look, and I don't blame them for doing that. It's got cachet. So, yeah, DS61. Yeah, well, no, I won't get one of those Future World machines. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good machine, but
yeah. Let's take another look at it.
Why do we always say this when Roland comes? And I like Roland
picture
stuff.
gone? There we go.
Yeah, me too, Darren. I think it just looks the piss, doesn't it? It looks lovely.
Look, I'm gonna give you guys my opinion about this. So the questions I was asking before weren't my opinion; they were just questions I was asking about the VST in a box and things like that. Yes, it is. It is a VST in a box. Yes, it is a digital synth. So what? One of the things that I love about the Juno is the actual user interface in it is so easy to get to those, you know, those sounds that you want to get to. It's just so easy to get to. And to have that on a full-size 61 keyboard, well, it's not full-size, it's 61 keyboard synth, with aftertouch, and it's got access to other stuff like the XV5080. I think this is actually probably one of their better things that they've done in a long while. I actually liked the Phantom 06 that they recently produced as well, because of some of the sampling user interface that they've brought into that. So I think Roland are starting to produce some interesting quirks. Yes, it is a bit of the stuff that they've always had, but what they've done is they're kind of getting better each time. They're kind of getting better. I mean, this is kind of, you know, like they said, beyond Juno. It definitely is a Juno still. You can still make the Juno sounds in this, but you can also play an RD piano. You can use a vocoder. It's an audio interface. It's got Bluetooth. So they've been listening. So the only negative I would say about this is price tag. I think Andy's right. I think this should have been a budget. Price tag should have been sub £1,000. You know, I think a lot of people in social media were probably agreeing with that. Maybe Roland got the price tag wrong, and they might adjust it in the future. I doubt it. They don't usually like to change things once they've set things. But there's going to be people that will buy this, and there's going to be people that will love this.
If they'd have given it a different colour paint, so it didn't resemble a Juno quite so much, and not called it a Juno, what would you be saying about it then? Would you be saying if you put a System 8?
That's a good question, Darren.
Side by side, I'd probably go for the Juno look because I like that, and that's why they've gone for it because it was a great look. It always has been and always will be. But if you painted that a different colour, slightly, can keep the same sliders and everything, but just a different colour, slightly different scheme look, and get rid of the Juno, then is it going to be, oh yeah, or is it just going to be, it's another digital Roland synth that's very similar to what they've released? I know they've added extras, but they're always going to do that when you get, every time it comes out, there's extras added and bits added, but
that's the thing, isn't it?
I'm just not sure about this Juno X. Is it beyond the Juno X? It's just a complete synth, I think. It's just a completely different digital synth that's using, I think someone said in the chat, some of the MC707 or 101 brains behind it. And
it is.
That's basically what you've got.
Stuff?
I bet if you take that apart, I bet there's very little on the back.
Yeah, it's just a computer inside.
They've took the engine out of one of the other.
Look, the system,
which
the
is
System
not
8,
nothing wrong. It's great. It's make it look great, but
the System 8 really, if they made the System 8 with Aftertouch, it's almost a perfect synth. Maybe a few more voices. That's almost a perfect synth, and that's what it sort of gets me about Roland. Sometimes they make something like this, and they almost get there, but they always trip over on something massive. In this particular case, it's the price, but yeah, I kind of agree with you.
After a while.
Yeah, actually, Sasquatch just saying that, you know, if it was 800 quid or say 900 quid, it would fly off the shelves, and it would. I think if they pitched it at that price, it really would. The question is, can they make it at that price? Is also another question. But as it's just a controller with a digital chip in it, you'd have thought that they could.
I think they're using the name a bit to get that price.
I'm not against digital synths at all, right? I love digital synths. I've got a Korg M3. I've got a Roland System 8. I've got plenty of digital stuff. I'm not against it, and I would love to own a Hydrosynth. And I know inside a Hydrosynth, it's just a computer and it does everything. But it's what they do with that computer. It's how you interact with it. It's what they do. It's the features, and then after all that's, you know, put together, the price is also relevant too, because the price really sort of puts it in your hands, or it doesn't put it in your hands, because, you know, of the income that you earn. And also you value things to a certain degree, and you think, well, hang on a minute, I could do this on my computer. I've got a MIDI controller. No, I don't need to spend that much money for this. But someone might go, you know what, I'm performing every week and I'm using Juno sounds because we're a 80s cover band. This is perfect. Let's rock and roll. Do you know what I mean? So it's really going to be.
Yeah, but last night.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect for some people.
I mean, I'll give them kudos and they're a business, so that's where they've got to make money. But I bet if you didn't call it a Juno X, I bet it wouldn't sell as many. Same thing, but if it wasn't called a Juno
so what should
X,
what should they call their synths though? Do you reckon they should start a new name? Like, you know, another planet like Venus?
The Samantha Z.
Mercury?
Yeah.
Pluto? I don't know.
We've got
the moon.
We've come up with a new yeah.
Right,
I think, yeah, I mean, it's not my top list anyway. Even though it might be a great synth. And it probably is a great synth. It's just.
I think it's definitely gonna hit someone's sweet spot, and they'll pull the trigger. But I don't think it's going to be rushing out the door for Roland. I don't think it's everyone's thing. Like if you look at how we reacted when they brought the System 8 out compared to this, Roland, if you're watching, go back and watch the videos that we make back in whenever it was, 2015 or whatever it was when the System 8 came out. And have a listen to how we were raving about that. That is kind of you listening to the market, and this is kind of you not kind of listening to the market. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna digress, and it'll just go on forever. Let's look at this thing. I don't have a video for this because it doesn't really exist in the wild yet. This is the RS9. Now this is a Behringer product, so for all the Behringers haters out there, bad luck. You're going to have to put up with it. I actually think Behringer are doing some really good stuff. Including this is a Eurorack module And I really like this because this is based on the 909, obviously the Roland 909. But what they've done is they've actually made the RD9, as you guys know. It took them a while to make that, but now they've got that out in the wild and people are loving it. Like, big shout out to Kink if he's out there. He's a big RD9 owner and fan, and he's been playing live in America with it, and it's been rocking stadiums. So just have a think about that before you bash Behringer. This RD9...
Who does?
Kink. He's a DJ producer. Been touring in the US, yeah. Doing really well. He's a European.
Those, yeah.
Modular Eurorack version, as I said, I always find interesting to compare when Behringer bring out the, the original renders that they bring out on these things compared to what it ends up being. This is the prototype still, but it's not the same as the render. I need to find out if I kept the render here, or did I delete it accidentally? That would be silly of me if I delete it, wouldn't it?
That looks like a prototype. Rather
it still does, yeah.
A mock-up.
Yeah.
That looks real rather than like a computer image.
We showed this back in November 2020. That's how long ago we showed the render anyway. Look, it doesn't matter. I won't show you the render, but believe me, there's a few things that are different on the render to this. Anyway, the cool thing about it is it's now off for testing, and this is what Behringer had to say. We just fired off this prototype. It's now gone off for testing. It is a full USB MIDI control TR909 Eurorack module, and you can see on here all the CV connectivity on this. This is going to be really cool fun to get this into Eurorack. It's going to take up a lot of HP, as you can see, but when I tell you the price, you're probably going to think to yourself, maybe not so bad after all. $149 US.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
That's what they're saying. 149 US. That's what they said on their Facebook.
Oh, God, I'm going to need a bigger rack.
Yep.
You see,
So
your getting the next rack's going to cost you more than the actual.
what do the chatties think about this thing?
To fit it in.
The little keys on there are like the 909. They're kind of those old computer type, Commodore Amiga type keyboard keys. So there's some people that are raging over it, saying they look, terrible, and some people are saying they look great, and some people are saying, I don't care, it's Behringer. I don't know why people are saying that, to be honest. It's stupid. It's getting stupid. But yeah.
You have to worry if it's that cheap, whether it's built like shit, But we know that that's not necessarily the case. We know. I mean, the D, the Pro One, they're really nicely made. The System 100 modules, they're really, okay. They're not made out of anything out
Titanium,
there special, but they're nice. Yeah, thank you. That was a good word. Titanium. They're nicely made, solid modules. Yeah, exactly.
Works fine. Still works.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is that so the other day I pulled the trigger on the Nifty keys. After the show, I thought I'm going to buy it. So I, stretched the bank account, pulled the trigger, and should be here next week. So I'll be able to show you guys that next week.
Cool.
Something like that, with say 4 System 110 modules in there. So that's 4 voices with 4 filters and 4 VCAs, and that module, you got a drum, 4 voice, bang on a Nifty keys. That'd be cool fun. That thing would just be going off. You'd be doing 90s dance music to your heart's content. I can just see this thing doing well. But anyway, yeah. No video to show, unfortunately. So I do apologise, but Behringer is, its real does exist.
They could double that price and it'd still fly, I think.
What about this?
I think you're right, Aaron, yeah.
What about this? Good old Tim,
Shoebridge,
one of our own, Tim Shoebridge, Polychain DIY. This is actually it's a commercial VST product that he's brought out. Yeah, I think we should check out the video on this. Now, let me just tee it up. I had a chat to Tim briefly, and he's given me the okay to show this. So it'll be good for his channel as well.
Yeah, well done, Tim.
Yeah, Tim's a
I
good,
like
good
Tim's
fella.
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always enjoy his videos.
He's got a great setup too. I'm kind of jealous. I love his setup. How you going, Tim? Good to see you. He's got a bunch of Typhons here, right? Now what we're seeing is him trigger these polyphonically with his plugin.
Let's talk about polychaining. Polychaining is a way of taking two or more synthesizers and in some way linking them together so that you can play them as one. Now, not many synthesizers support polychaining, and when they do, it's a very individual thing. There are no standards. You can't just take two synthesizers and polychain them together. I mean, why can't we? Why can't we take any synthesizers we like and polychain them together?
Well, that's a damn good question, Tim, and you actually have solved it. So big thumbs up to you. We're going to head on over to the Mac desktop, and I'm going to quickly show you the website. This is the actual VST that you can purchase. So I'll give you guys the link to this straight into the chat room in a sec. Just give me a sec. I'll just go through this part. You can go through this. Availability, you can buy this now. I think it's $39. Where did I see the price on this thing? Was it right down the bottom? No, I can't remember where I saw the price on this. I'm pretty sure it's $39, by the way. It's going to a good guy. He's put a lot of work into this. I think it's through Cherry Audio's Voltage Modular project, if you do buy it. So it's distributed through them. So just bear in mind, it's kind of a deal that he's done with them, or they've done a deal with him or something like that. Anyway, so let me just grab the link for you guys and place it into the chat room. Do you guys want to have a quick comment about that while I just tee up the link for these guys? Polychaining?
Great.
Never polychained anything. Never polychained anything, but what a great thing to do. And of course, if Tim's put his brains to it, no doubt it'll come out and it'll work really, really well. That's your thing. Go ahead and do it. I loved his video that he did where he was polychaining all those Model Ds together and worked out that actually doing that was a real ball ache. So if he's found a way that you can do it where it'll cut all the corners of having to set everything the same, great. Well done to him.
Yeah.
And 3 Typhons. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great video. I've linked his directly to the VST in the chat, and you can go check out those videos. If you haven't subscribed to Tim's channel, please do that. He's got some really amazing videos. He does video production for a living, so it's no wonder his videos are so good. But yeah, big hats off to Tim, and I'm glad he's got himself out there. He does do sort of sound patches and stuff like that as well. So. It's good to see him getting into some more technical stuff. I actually thought this was quite genius. I liked the layout of this. Like if we're looking at the GUI on this, you can actually see how it's got the active column there. So you'll see channel voices and then active. As you fire your notes, those little active lights light up. It's actually really cool. So you can actually watch it all sort of light up like a Christmas tree, and it's firing off. And you could use this. If you had an Expert Sleepers FH2 in your Eurorack, you could use this through your Eurorack as well. So there you go. By the way, just so if people are asking, can polychain be done in other ways? Absolutely. There's heaps of other ways to do it. If there's some Max for Live plugins, there's a whole bunch of ways you can do it. I think even if you have a MRCC through Conductive Labs, there's polychaining in that. But this is a real quick and easy way for you to do it if you don't have those access to those bits of hardware or software, and it's pretty cheap. So plug for Tim, plug for Tim's channel, absolutely. We'd have to get him on the show too. So love to have him on the show actually. Yeah, right, cool. Darren, Did you have a need for that? I kind of thought that would be sort of up your alley, that thing.
That's why I said great. Yes. Hence, well, there's a space here.
Yeah.
For some sort of small type things. So polychaining some small type synths would be great. It looks, it's, like I say, anything in the making, not a ball like is. And like I say, if it's about $39 or anything, that's nothing, is it? Especially if you want to get into polychaining your equipment, you know, your synths, or it's yeah, brilliant. That's all I can say. Just a big thumbs up for that, and well done.
Yeah, I should tee this up. I did a video years ago. It was probably one of the first videos on my channel, actually, where I used a mutable instruments product called MIDI PAL or something, MIDI GAL. I can't remember what you call it now. MIDI PAL. I think that's what she called it. Anyway, it's a little box, and it had a little polychain, you know, feature in it, and I had a whole bunch of you know, mono synths, like a Mini Brood, Bass Station 2, and I was actually playing chords through that. So there's more than one way of doing this. That's, you know, that's for sure. But this actually makes it in your, you know, on a screen, mapped out, really, really simple to use. And that's what I liked about it. It's just, I just find it intuitive. And so yeah, definitely go check it out. Right, what else we got? I think we got one more thing to check out, and that's this baby here. The Function Junction. Create Audio have been pumping out some gear in the last couple of days, really, that's for sure. Function Junction, what is this? This is a Eurorack module, yes. For those who don't like Eurorack, bad luck. Function Junction is a collaboration with Pittsburgh Modular again. It's good that the Create Audio guys have got, you know, got that connection with Pittsburgh, because you know, there's some brains, you know, in the Pittsburgh, and there's some brains that Create Audio. So putting the two heads together comes good. What they basically did is they said, look, Eurorack function modules can be a little bit sort of hard to work out. They tend to do a lot of things, but how to get to them and how to do those things is half the problem. So what these guys have done is, at Pittsburgh, is they said, yeah, we agree. We think that these module needs to be a bit easier to sort of do. So if you can kind of follow this, you've got 1, 2, 3. You've got the ADSR, you've got the functions, and then you've got the rate, and then you've got the output. So you've got the mix, and there's an LFO there, and you can go deeper into this, where you've got all the inputs and outputs and things like that, and they're color coded too. You should notice that. But what this is, if you're wondering, it's a 3 classic analog module sources, ADSR envelope, function generator, and an LFO, and they all fed into an attenuating mixer to create complex modulation junction. And it can be used as 4 independent sections or in conjunction with each other, and that's when it gets crazy, where you can actually start doing some cool stuff. Now, if I remember rightly, I've got a video. We can check this out on the vid, on Le Vid, and just got to wait for YouTube's to stop playing ads. There we go. And if everything works, we can do this.
Hi, I'm Richard Nickel, founder of Pittsburgh Modular Synthesizers.
Hey, Richard.
And I'm here to introduce you to Function Junction, a many functions in one module we've developed in partnership with our friends at Create Audio. What's a many functions in one module? Modules that are designed to provide the user with a wide variety of utilities for their modular system. Function Junction has 4 primary sections that can easily stand on their own as a module. These 4 sections are ADSR, Function Generator, LFO, and Multi-Mode Mixer. The ADSR section is a 4-stage envelope generator that smooths the shape of incoming trigger or gate signals to produce more expressive control voltages. The ADSR output can be used to control the amplitude of an oscillator, the cutoff frequency of a filter, or any other function on a module that accepts control voltages. This envelope generator, at its core, is based on a 100% analog design that we've been refining for the past 10 years. For Function Junction, we have added looping capability to the ADSR. This enables you to create complex shaped modulation sources with the press of a button. A function generator creates a periodic control voltage by setting both the time it takes the output to rise from 0 to 5 volts and the time it takes for the voltage to return to 0. It can be thought of as a triangle wave with independent control over the left, attack and voltage rise, or the right, decay and voltage fall, sides of the triangle. The triangle can be triggered to cycle both once as a one-shot or loop to create a voltage-controllable LFO. The flexibility of the function generator means it can be used in a lot of different ways. It can be an envelope generator.
So a lot of people have said to me when they heard about this, and they thought, well, this has been out for years, and everyone who gets into Modular or Eurorack are told this should be one of the first modules that you should ever buy because it kind of does a whole bunch of this stuff already. Yes and no. And I think one of the good comments that I heard about this is that I think this should be considered as, oops, wrong one, a next generation maths module and more. And the fact that it's got a few other bells and whistles under its hat, I think is a really, really cool thing. I probably think I'm going to get one of these. Now, if you're wondering a little bit about the price and all that sort of stuff, this you are looking at $249 US, and they're available now from Create Audio. They're going to show it off at Super Booth in a couple of weeks' time in May. So we'll get to see a bit more of it like that. I just linked the video into the chat so those guys who are into Eurorack can check it out. Brooksy, I know you're into that sort of quirkiness. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, I saw Robin Vincent's video on it and thought he did a really good job of explaining it as basically maths for idiots, which I thought was a proper good way of putting it. And I thought, oh, yeah, actually, cool. Yeah, I know what's his demo. I thought, yeah, I understand that. I go, yeah. It's another one to add to the list, isn't it? Damn it. There goes another 200 quid. Oh, dear. Well, there we are. Yeah, because I mean, it's interesting because I've got the envelopes and LFOs and things in the System 100, and to be honest, I get a bit irritated with them. I think I've said that before. And to have something that's a bit different and something that will do certainly that the looping things or more interesting LFOs, definitely interested in that because I just get a bit. Yeah, it's just an envelope generator. It just goes. Meh.
Yeah.
So yeah, something that's a bit more. Yeah, weird. Yeah, definitely. Quite
Cycling
like
of envelopes.
Definitely on the list. Definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. I keep forgetting how long ago things happened on this show. But I did a ping pong thing, like a bouncing ball thing on the maths once, and I was just kind of mucking around with that. This does that as well, if you're wondering. So yeah, Darren. Does this kind of want you get back into Eurorack? I mean, look at the colours on that. The red and the white.
Well, exactly. It's more colourful. But anything
like
that makes
t-shirt.
something easier to use or easier to understand. Yes, like my t-shirt. And if it makes Eurorack easier to use and understand, well, then that's got to be a bonus, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Very good point. Right. That's it for news. We got to the end of the news. What do the chatties think? What was something that happened this week that you think maybe I should have shown on the show? Or what was your favourite bit of news that we showed already? Or is there something else you want to add? Cresshead's asking, was it designed during an earthquake? Yeah, I just kind of think these guys are just, they're just wanting to sort of excite. It's an excitement thing. Function generators traditionally have been a kind of very drab and boring thing, right? So they're just trying to sort of bring us to get excited by these things because they can do a lot more than the nerdy things that we have probably been taught in the maths class.
I mean, there are other things that are similar. Obviously, there's maths. Mac mentioned the Behringer Rampage.
Yep.
Darren mentioned stages last week, and there are other things which do these sort of functions. And I just thought I like the look of that module because the fact that it's broken down into 3 understandable bits, and then there's that mixer which you can then use. And I mean, again, Robin's video on how you use that little mix. He showed how you use the mixer. I thought, oh, okay, that's great. I like that. That's interesting. And I like the graphics. I like the fact that it looks like it's been taken straight out of a Beano comic. I like that.
If you look at the graphics though, they kind of make you feel like it's all wonky and everything. But if you actually look at it, all the holes and the knobs and everything are all nice and straight lines. So someone will make a like a vinyl. There's guys that do kind of new face plates. Some will do overlay. Yes, the word I was looking for. Someone will do an overlay for that.
I agree.
You never know. Create Audio might do another overlay for it. So that is probably on the cards. But yeah, let's just see if anyone said anything else there. Yes, there was one other thing, and someone mentioned it in the chat just then, and I kind of feel. How am I going to say this? Klaus Schultz passing during the week.
Well, yes. Already shed a tear or two.
Yeah. I want you guys to know that he would probably be up there as one of the biggest influences to me. I've followed him from for many years. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually quite sad. He was quite young to go. It is
74 or 75.
Quite young.
Super aged.
Yeah, and we've lost a good one. For all of those who don't know who Klaus Schultz is, go check him out. Go check out his music and the legacy that he's left us and people that have been influenced by him. And I can tell you there's some really big names that have been influenced by him over the years. So don't think he's someone... If you've never ever heard of this guy, I definitely think you should go check him out. I'm just going to quickly show you what he looks like. Because I think some people don't know who we're talking about. So let's go to Wikipedia. That'll do.
Found a member of Tangerine Dream, and on their very first album, Electronic Meditation, and then obviously his own electronic stuff, Ashra, Temple, Popol Vuh, a lot of that krautrock stuff. He was involved with that.
He wrote music all the way up
Time Wind,
pretty much until he died.
Amazing album.
He was probably still working on something right now, I reckon.
Yeah, there's a really great video on YouTube of a concert he gave in around 1976.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Sort of period to Tangerine Dream, Rubicon for Westdeutsche Rundfunk, so WDR, about 25 minutes, and it is you call it Berlin school, so it's the big Moogs with the sequencers, and he's got all the different things, but it's just gorgeous. It just is a beautiful thing to sit and watch and listen to. Yeah, that one when he's got his helmet on and all those things, really, really beautiful. Yeah, old Klaus, very, very sad.
That one there. Yeah.
On the video, I think it's more the one above him, surrounded by all that Moog and the tape recorders and stuff. But yeah, the Westdeutsche Rundfunk concert with that, I just love that. Well, yeah, Moon thingamy, Moon. Oh, come on, brain work.
In 2009, I think he released an album too, which was, I think it was 2009, and I still listen to it like it feels to me like it was just yesterday. Yeah. So really, really, really sad. I really highly rate him. So I kind of I didn't really know what to do. Like when we lost Florian, I did a little sort of piece where I was attributing to him, and I kind of felt I bodged that up. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do it again. I didn't want to sort of bodge up a Klaus Schultz track. I just think
it was good though.
The best thing we can do, I think, is jump onto your favorite, music channel or streaming platform or whatever, and just go have a listen to some of your stuff if you haven't before, or if you haven't for a while, and just have a little sort of quiet session and just give him a salute, because he was definitely one of the best. Right. Thanks for suggesting that too in chat, because that definitely was something that we should have said in news. Shall we move on though to something a little bit more interesting, like? Yes, we have the scams of the week. You guys are probably thinking to yourselves, this should have been on the synth meme section, right? Well,
Love it.
it needs to go on Price Watch because this baby is live and you can buy it. It's on Reverb right now. It's a custom concrete Eurorack case. It's what do they call those? Besser blocks or something? I can't remember what they call those things. Those blocks that you...
Breeze blocks, we call
Breeze
them
blocks, yeah, that's it, yeah. This is literally live, so let's have a look.
Switched on bongos. Oh, I think it's great, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 295 Australian dollars, so 150
Where's the
quid.
power go?
So
there's no power.
you'd have to fit a
You
power
have to put a
supply
ribbon in there,
with a
drill
bus
a hole or
board.
something, yeah.
Or is
Now,
that a little solar panel?
I think that's one of those little sort of blank plates, but
Is it just a blanking panel? Oh.
but I think it's just to show how many HP it takes up. But I will warn you
Cinder blocks.
that if you do buy this, you might get stoned. Right, so
Come on, Jim.
84 HP, 95 millimeter depth, M3 fixed rail inserts. So yeah, one in existence. Someone should buy it. It's actually not that bad, the price really. Look, it's even got, I wonder if it includes the stands.
Oh, dear. I have to say I like that a lot just for its silliness.
I wonder what type of rock music you would produce with
Oh,
that.
Tish again.
Oh my God. Please, no more jokes.
Oh, my God. Somebody stop him quick.
No more jokes.
What's the shipping cost on it? It's not.
By the way,
exactly,
it's in Durango in Colorado in the US. Switched on Bongos is the name of the guy who's selling it, and the shipping says just plus shipping, just plus shipping. What about this? Now this came from Eddie. Eddie sent this through during the week in Discord, and he said to me, "This is absolutely getting berserk. You know, why are we paying £400 for a Roland JV 8080?" Well, I would probably suggest that they're trying to get the extra quid there for the M512E, which is the memory expansion, because they're not that common. They are around, but not as common as the actual rack units themselves. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have a look at what else there is out there for the same thing. And, well, lo and behold, there's one in Australia. And that's Australian dollars. So we've gone from pounds to Australian dollars, literally half. Right, but this is still overpriced in Australia. And Australians do this. They're just stupid over here. They think their gear's worth more than what it really is. That's what happens in Australia. This is probably only worth about 250 Australian, to be honest. Maybe a bit more, maybe 300. I don't know, somewhere around there. This doesn't have the memory expansion that the other one had. But I just thought it's interesting, like people still wanting really, really sort of high prices for these are just sound modules, really. That's all they are. We did talk about the XV5080 before in that Juno synth that Roland brought out. So similar sounds would be in this, the PCM type sounds. So yeah. What was your favourite price watch?
The breeze block's got to win it.
The breeze block, yeah, it has to be.
Like just because, I mean, if nothing else, it's a work of art. I mean, just somebody thinking that that's actually a well, who knows whether they thought it was sensible? They probably just thought, you know what, look at this block. Oh, that's bad. I could probably put Eurorack in there. Oh, it works. It fits. Right, where's my drill? How much can I get for this?
You know what though? I had a closer look at this, right, Brooksy, and I don't reckon those rails are even fixed in there because there's no screws. There's no screws.
Masonry glue.
They probably glue. Just someone's bought some liquid nails and just jammed it in there. Oh my God! Jump down to the local hardware store as soon as you can.
Michael B's just become a voltage control.
We have a new channel member. Yay! Look at that, Michael B. Well done, champ. Welcome to the. Unfortunately, you won't be on the credits today, but we'll make sure you're on next week. But thank you very much for joining. Everyone, pop a champagne cork or whatever you celebrate. It's all good fun. Right. What did we get to? we got to this section now. Oh, yeah, this section.
Oh. Has Eddie been busy again?
Eddie's been busy again. No, I don't know who it is actually.
Oh, sorry, I'll let me go.
We don't know. Let me just get it lined up so we can talk. Okay, so if you're wondering what this segment is, name that synth. What are we doing? Well, we are showing a synth visually on the screen, and your job, when you get told to, is to try and guess what it is, using your ears, of course. Now, the visual part may actually be the bit that might trick you. So I suggest that maybe even close your eyes. I don't know, maybe the visuals might help you. Sometimes they do. Now, the good news here is we now have a sponsor for this segment, and that's Plug-in Audio. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about that afterwards, and that means that you'll get a prize. Now, we're going to have to add a little bit of sort of strict rules here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to name that synth after the video pauses. And then once I tell you that time is up, and I'll tell you the last person's name in the chat as I see it, live, scrolling on the screen, that will be it. No more entries after that. But if you can guess it, you get yourself a copy of Unify from Plug-in Audio, which is awesome, and a couple of other bits and pieces. We'll go through the prizes in a sec. But why don't we check out this week's entry? Right, let me just get the video line back up. You just heard it then, but now you're going to see it. Here we go. I'll start it again. Indeed, and I said 30 seconds, go. See if you can guess it. We've got a few entries in the chat room already. 30 seconds, stopwatch. I'll start the 30 seconds from now. Here we go. So it was pretty good.
Seconds, then.
It was pretty good this week. It was definitely sent in by Eddie, if you're wondering. I'm going to help you a little bit with the hint there. So Eddie's done a good job again. Thank you, Eddie, by the way. No idea, says a deer with no eyes. 10 seconds to go. No idea. Not many people in the chat at the moment. 48 people in the chat. That's not that many. 3 seconds, 2, 1, stop. Last person entry was Wagoo, who said Elisa's D4, maybe. Okay, so that's the last entry we'll take. Unfortunately, anyone else who's said it after that is crickets. Bad luck. Okay, so we had a few entries. We had an SR16, Elisa's DM5, Elisa's DM5 again. Everyone's going Elisa's. I definitely think it's a drum machine. I think that's dead giveaway. I think Eddie's gone out this week to try and make it easy for you. So let's see who wins. Okay, here we go. Elisa's is correct. DM5 is also correct. Who got DM5?
Corrosive Abuser was in
Corrosive
first.
Abuser,
Yeah.
you were the first. Corrosive Abuser, you are the first.
Corey was in there first.
Yeah, just after Brooksy's comment. So everyone who was on the Elisa's bandwagon were correct, but Corrosive Abuser was the first, so you win a prize. Let's tee up what we can talk about with the prize. Plug-in Guru will give them a plug. Pardon the pun. Ooh, stomach's making rumble sounds. I don't know why. Come on. Plug-in Guru. If you're wondering about who Plug-in Guru are, they are a amazing VST / MIDI sort of stuff to help you with managing your libraries. Now, Unify is his main product, and big hello to John, by the way. So Unify, you can actually get a demo version of this if you want to check it out. Just wait for this to load. Unify is a really, really cool product which helps you manage patches and play them all at the same time, creating your own mix-max of different VSTs and categories and all that sort of stuff. It's a really, really great plugin. So Corrosive Abuser, you've won yourself a copy of that, plus a couple of other bits and pieces. Send me your contact details through, and I'll be you in charge. I'll get you into contact with Skippy, who's John, who's Plugin Guru guy, and you'll get yourself a copy of that. Well done. For those who played Name That Synth, thanks very much, Eddie, who had bragging rights for the whole week, actually, didn't he? Because he managed to actually trick us all. Trick us all, he did. Yes.
Well done, well done, well done.
I think you were pretty close, Brooksy. You got the Alesis part of it correct.
Saw that jog wheel and went straight for that, and and I hadn't taken into account that.
I knew it wasn't an Alesis S. I knew it wasn't that one.
That's what I thought it was. But
that's what
I mean, just about everyone has got one of those, haven't they? The SR16. They're really, really good. By the way.
Yeah.
You can still buy these. The SR16. They still sell them.
I know.
Yeah.
You've got to admit that's been going for a long time.
Yeah, that's like a micro Korg type product. You know, it's one of the longest running products.
Or something, yeah.
So Corrosive Abuser wants to give it to Sergio because he doesn't use software. Okay, you can do that. So Sergio, if you're in the chat still,
in second. Was Sergio in second? Was he?
Yeah, he was second.
Let's have a look. Sergio was in just underneath Corey. So if he wants to pass it on, that's very generous of
Corey,
you.
get in contact with me. Corey, get in contact with me anyway. I'll see what I can do about getting something to you. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I've got some stuff here that I might be able to part with. Let us know anyway. Yay, says Sergio. He's got some software. All right. Send me your contact information. Both of you actually, and we'll see what we can do for this week. Next week, next week. Ooh, maybe next week. I hope so. Next week, I'll definitely, if nothing bad happens to couriers, I'll definitely have a Create Audio nifty keys here, which won't be sponsored by Create Audio. I've literally paid for this out of my own money. And one of the reasons why I wanted it is because I actually think I might actually build this as part of, I'll slide it in as part of my modular setup that I'm in the middle of designing. And I keep redesigning it and keep rethinking it. What the problem with me is I can't sort of settle on an idea. I think that having that keys thing there might actually be a good idea. As long as I can slide it in and slide it out, I think it's going to work well. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know what Brooksy's up to. He's going to show me something. What are you going to show me, Brooksy?
Sorry, just to answer F. Rose's question, he just said, thanks for the appraisal. Don't mind me asking what's on top of the German dictionary from Collins. Two of these. Oh, that way. There you go. That's the MIDI data filer MDF2, and I have for some reason I can no longer explain two of the bloody thing. No, that way. Two other things. I remember way back in the day. I told they're called Sid and Nancy, because
some others do have them.
They do. I used to use these for me gigs rather than taking the Atari ST out. I used to dump the MIDI files. Just put
on a floppy,
the MIDI into there and play, and it would play it back from the floppy. You just press the play button, and it would play it back. And it was Grace has just said, "Oh, I remember those. Yeah, we've used them in Chillage People as well, just for sort of security's sake and those. Yeah. So why on earth I've got two? I don't know why I decided I needed a backup, because these things just don't go wrong. You know, they're just. I mean, I say they don't go wrong. They probably won't switch on at all now, but they haven't been switched on in probably 20 years.
You know what?
But there we are. Yeah, that's what they are, Freddie.
Akai MPC needs to do is they need to bring back the ability for us to load MIDI files on again. So you can do it, but it's kind of convoluted the way you can do it. You can do it through the software, the MPC software, and then that way you can get it in and you can create your sequences and stuff that way. But I wish they would have it so that you could just literally chuck it on your little SD card or whatever, your hard drive, and just load a MIDI file in, and then you can manipulate it straight into the thing. I reckon a Force even would be even better. That'd be cool. All right, now if you are watching and you've seen all this stuff that we've just done, and you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, I was supposed to be watching a show about Akai Force, Eurorack modular type setup. Where the hell's that? Why haven't you shown that? Well, that happened the first hour. We've already done that. So you look at your timing of this stream, you'll see that there's 2 hours and 11 minutes gone by, nearly 2 hours and 12 minutes now. The first hour was all about the Akai Force. We got through a fair bit. We talked about connections, audio, CV and MIDI. We talked about making it sync. We synced it with Ableton. We talked about creating clips and audio routing and tricks. And we also talked about class compliant USB. So we got all through that, and nothing really majorly musical came out of it, unfortunately, which is tends to be my forte. That's probably why, that's probably why I work in the IT industry, and I'm not a fully fledged musician. But anyway, so this is where we got to. We created a CV clip. We created some recordings under the audio track, and we're also playing with plugins too, which we love. A lot of people look at the Akai Force and scratch their head, I reckon. I actually probably did that for a while too, before I bought it. They look at it and they scratch their head and think to themselves, hang on a minute, doesn't a DAW do all this stuff? I think Darren's doing this a fair bit too. Doesn't my DAW do this? The answer is yes, it does. If you have, if you're sitting there like Darren right now, Darren's sitting there, he's got his Akai, his Ableton Push 2, he's got his Ableton Live in his computer, and he's got all his gear just around him. He probably doesn't need something like this. Really, he probably doesn't need it.
Unless you're going live, which is a different matter, because I presume that would be a bit more robust than taking your laptop out.
Yeah. I mean,
these days your laptop's pretty
things
robust.
They're pretty robust, yeah. I have seen these things crash too, so I wouldn't be holding my hat
then maybe
on that.
Not.
Yeah. But anyway, the cool thing about it is, for example, we can go to Mixer, mute that. We can also play notes with Eurorack. And you can sequence Eurorack with this thing too. So this is kind of cool. And I just thought, we were talking last week about audio Eurorack production. And one of the comments that I made was I used my Akai Force to do it. And I was just basically showing how I connect it up and how I create clips and how I sync it and how I make CV. I don't use the CV that much, by the way, but I'm just using it right now. There's CV working. So that was what's in the first hour. And if you do want to go back and watch that, you're more than welcome to. It'll be on the replay when we finish streaming, excuse me. But if there's any questions about this now, that's what this part of the show is now. We're at the end of all the main stuff. We've done the early show. So pretty much we're at the end. So if you guys have got any questions about anything that you've seen for the show. So the first section was about Akai Force and Eurorack and Modular. Any of the news articles that we talked about, please feel free to ask. Ask us anything. We're happy to do that. And it's good to see a few new members jumping into chat. Brooksy, any more? We saw your video during the week, didn't we? That's what we saw. Maybe I should get that up.
My video. Oh, mine and Grace's video.
Yeah.
The last one we did for Hardware Jams. Yeah. Go and give that a
Is that on your channel?
It's been and done. And on Grace's. So
okay,
yeah, it's called something or other. I can't remember what it's called. Grace, what's it called? It's not Get Off My Land, is it? It's called something else. It's called.
Oh God, I've got to find it now. Because where did I see it?
I could probably call your link up.
No, I've got it. I've got it. I found it.
It's. Do you know? I can't remember what it's called. What do we call that bloody
It's
track?
called
Grace?
Wasted
Honestly.
in the House.
Oh, that's right. It was this sample pack. We had to use these samples from this sample pack provider that was all made using bits of waste and stuff that was collected up off a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
And there are lots of sort of crinkly sounds and percussive sounds and sort of chiffy bottle sounds, and we used about a dozen or so of these sounds sort of.
Well, there we go. We've got through most of that, and
It's the glitter ball. I think that's cool.
Yes. The link is in the chat now if you want to watch the rest of that.
I love that melody.
Please do go and visit Andy's channel as well as Grace's channel, and separately give them some love. Did a good job of that, I thought. I really liked how you guys swapped. That was the point I was trying to make. So 1 minute you're on the BeatStep Pro, and the next minute you're on the keyboards.
So it was like, Grace was playing this stuff on the keyboard, and sort of funky bits, and I went, oh, Grace, you need your wrists looser. So Grace just went. She said, well, why don't you do it? And I thought, well, all right, well, what do we do? Because in the old days, in Chillage, people used to sort of swap places mid-gig. Right, Rupert would come here, and I'd go. So I always thought, well, why don't we just do a swap in the middle of that? Well, we just started being silly, really, and we just enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun doing that, and and Grace works her magic on doing the videos and editing it together, because three or four different sort of cameras set up. One really nice camera as a phone and a little webcam and all these different things, and then Grace sort of compiles it in DaVinci Resolve, and she really knows what she's doing with that, and does a cracking job every time. But so that was just us just having a laugh. And unfortunately, Grace is not too clever right now with things being as they are. So I'm not sure we'll manage to get something done tonight, but we'll have a chat and see if we can work something out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Dazza. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Eddie.
I really enjoyed it, so I thought it was worth showing. Now, I am going to go off track slightly because Michael, who is in the chat room, asked a question about Eurorack cables. And I thought, what a great question, because this is really, I think, a personal choice when it comes to a whole bunch of reasons. It might be aesthetics, it might be cleanliness, it might be organisation, it could be budget, it could be anything. And you can see just by looking at this, there's actually quite a few different examples of Eurorack cables here. These ones that you see here that I've got the right angles, they're called tendrils, and you can get them through your local provider, but tendrils.co.uk if you want to get them directly or find a distributor. These ones here are either the Hoser brand, and you can see, look how much higher they sit off the faceplate of a Eurorack. So that's one of the things you'll notice, is that these kind of spread their way around. Like if I show you on this angle, do you see how they kind of, they look like tendrils, like tentacles? And whereas the ones that stick up, they really just push up into the air, and they kind of get in your way. So that looks quite neat, compared to what it has been. This view probably doesn't look as neat as what it looks like from above. But when you're actually looking at it, you can see all this stuff here. This is all being tucked away, and you don't really need to fix that. Okay, so brands are Tendrils, Hoser, Erica Synths. If you're looking at specific brands of what cables I buy. Now the Pittsburgh guys, I've been giving them a bit of a plug today, but they actually are bringing back that Naviac or something, some weird name. And I really rate these cables. I'm going to show you one. They kind of have a very thin plug on them, and this cable itself is really springy. So you can see, like, it's just so springy, and that's actually a good thing, because when you've got them looped and things like that, they don't stay into shape. They spring back. And so the good news is I read a post on Facebook from the Create Audio guys. They're bringing those Pittsburgh cables back, and you should be able to get them, I think, now. So that's those. I do have those. Now, the other ones that are quite common to get are these. These are the stack cables from Tip Top Audio. These are very, very handy because that means I can plug something else into that now. That's the whole point of that. So sometimes you might want to passively multiply what that connection does, and that's what those stack cables do. And they are really, really, really handy. So hopefully that just gives you a bit of a rundown of they're the three main types. You've got the right angle ones, you've got the standard type there, and you've got those stack cables ones there by Tip Top Audio. So let us know if you got any questions about that, because that was a good question in chat. Well done. I think the tendrils are probably better if you're kind of more likely to sort of leave them there. You got some there, Andy. I didn't know you got some. Good.
Yeah, that's just one. That's a tendril cable. Oh god, there we go. Yeah, and they're very loose. They're not stiff cables. They're not springy like the ones that you've just mentioned. And you can move them around really easy and wrap them around things. And like you said, the right angle jack just means that everything's really tidy. They're a good thing. These are a good thing. We like these.
And they're thin as well. The actual cable itself is thin. Like one of the things you'll notice.
Yeah, I mean, how hard wearing they'll be, who knows? But they're certainly useful if you've got a lot of things, like you said, for things that you keep patched fairly permanently. They're really quite useful. Yeah, you've got little cable ties around that. I do think that's a nice way of keeping busy areas of your rack sort of tidy.
Yeah, we showed that a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about. I put those cable ties in there. You can see them there, and they're using the knurlies. They help. Knurlies are helpful. And we did talk about the the possibility of using a different type of knurly. I think have I still got all that stuff here in my drawers? I can't remember what's in here. Not in that one. Because I do want to remind people what they look like. No, I can't find them off the top of my head.
No,
oh, that's right, yeah. Here we go. No, not the knurlies. I don't mean the knurlies, but thanks for pointing those out. I actually meant these things. Let's go up. These were my knurly alternatives, and you can see them. So these are knurlies here, and these are my knurly alternatives here. And the reason why I was looking at an early alternative is there's a blog article on my website. It's because they're about half the price. And then we went into it, and there's much cheaper versions of doing it than that. But that actually is quite small, and they're really easy to get undone as well. So there's a few benefits to it. So yeah, cables, knurlies, we've had those questions before. Michael said thanks. Does stack cable have any power gotchas to avoid, like inputs, outputs, not meant to have two attached, etc.? Yeah, it's a good question. So whenever you increase the amount of connections to something, you're decreasing the amplitude of whatever it is that's providing the voltage. So for example, if you've got a gate going through that cable and you've got lots of multiples stacked through that one gate, you could get to the point where the sequencer might not even pick up the gate because the voltage is not strong enough. And it's the same with audio. The more you split audio up without re-amplifying it or pre-amping it, it'll just eventually get so quiet you won't be able to hear it. So it's the same with control voltage. So do be careful with that. One of probably the biggest gotchas is pitch to CV, and you really don't want to be.
CV needs to be buffered.
Yeah. So in that case, you want to get yourself one of these or something like that, and that's a module there. It's a 2 HP module there, which is an IntelliGel module, and that's a buffered mult module. And you can see one coming in, and then that multiplies into 3, and it's got 2 of those. And I use that off of my Varigate. So the pitch coming off the Varigate, there's 2 pitch CV channels just here on the bottom of the Varigate. That comes out, and then everything is going to be all the same voltage coming out, so you're not ever mucking around with that. So buffered mults is what you want to look at Passive mults is fine. There's even Behringer modules and other modules that do passive mults. Actually, interestingly, on that nifty keys, Brooksy, it's got buffered mults on it. Do buffered mults, nice. I was very impressed with that. Yeah, that's about it, is it? I think. Yeah, Prodigy shirt. Everyone's talking about your Prodigy shirt. Sasquatch, Glitterballs, Sacrilege, Pink Floyd, Martin Taylor. Dearie me. Ken's giving you a challenge there, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not possible for this week's challenge because this week's challenge is you've got to only allowed to use 4 notes. So you specify what your 4 notes are that you're going to use, and you're only allowed to use those 4. That'd be interesting. Grace and I had a chat about that yesterday, but yeah, circle of fifths will be too many notes. You'd use them up in 2 chords.
Eddie's asked me about the early alternatives. Go check out my blog article on ranzee.com. You'll see it. So a couple of articles back, but you'll see it. If you look at that camera angle again, like you're not going to be putting them any closer to each other than 2 modules like that, right? So it's not a big deal. By the way, they're just standard computer thumb screws that you find in computer cases. So if you're wondering what they are. That's not the best either example. So there's others. I actually need to go up and update that article, because we've already been there. There's actually a live stream about it as well. We've already talked about it. I can't remember which live stream it was. Managing the Mess, that's what it's called. So go look on my channel for Managing the Mess, and you'll find all that information. We actually did talk about quite a lot on that show, Managing the Mess. It was all Robbie Puricelli's fault too.
Really?
Yeah, because he kept whinging about how my Eurorack looked like a jungle mess, and he couldn't understand what was going on. So I cleaned it up for him. I made it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Not really.
Well, he doesn't even like buttons, does he? It has to be an absolutely smooth front panel.
He likes membranes.
2x16 display that.
Yeah, and membranes. Interfaces with like plastic membranes over them. Yeah.
Sorry, Robbie.
Robbie, good on you, Robbie. Just kidding. He's probably not even there. He's probably gone to bed. He
was earlier. He's probably doing something much more sensible with his time, really, to be fair.
Question to everyone in the chat: who is happy that I've put the 1 hour early show back? Please let us know if you're happy with that to come back. Don't forget, if you missed it, I do apologise. I didn't really do a great deal of Facebook social media posting during the week. I probably didn't get the word out there as much as I usually do. But yes, if you are watching this on a replay or you're watching this live, we are doing the 1 hour early show back again, which means I'm about to end the stream actually right now, because I think we're kind of done. But before I do, I kind of want to say thank you to all the people who contribute financially, and I'll talk about the other people in a sec, but let's have a quick look at this. This is a thank you. Yes, a big thank you to all of those people, and that will get updated with whoever joins Patreon and things like that. Don't forget too, during the week we keep chatting about all sorts of stuff to do with synths on Discord, and I always like to show you guys the link. There's the Discord link. If you've never been part of Discord, jump on, it's free. There's no scamming, there's no advertising, it's all good, it's safe. Even your kids can use it. No, just kidding. Other than that, I also want to say a big thank you to Darren, who comes on every week and puts up with me, and has an awesome t-shirt every week too. This week he's got Pro Diggy. Yes. Pro Diggy. So, yeah, thanks Darren for coming on every week. And also, Mr. Brooks, thank you also, buddy, for coming on every week. Always appreciate it. I don't know if I get that point across, but I do. I really, really appreciate you coming on. And so does everybody
It's
who
a pleasure.
tells me nice things about all of you guys. So I do try and pass on the messages. And also,
When are you going to get rid of that Brooksy bloke? Oh, get rid of him. He's
get rid
an
of that Proxy
idiot.
Break.
Sorry.
Big thank you to the chatties who have been part of the show as well. There's a good number of you guys in this week. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and all that sort of YouTube crap that you hear all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. Other than that, we will say goodbye. Toodaloo, everyone. Have a nice week.
Take care, everyone.
See you later.
See you at Dom's tomorrow.
Take
They're
care.
saying at Jamie's. See you all. Try.